Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Kujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam Manojavam Marutulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanarayotha Mukhyam Sri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami Anjana Nandanam Veeram Janaki Shokanashanam Kapishamakshahantaram Vande Lanka Bhayankaram Apadam Apahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Sri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham Dakshine Lakshmano Yasya Vame Cha Janakatmaja Purato Marutir Yasya Tam Vande Raghunandanam. Okay, Hare Krishna, welcome back. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover chapters 28, 29 and 30. And this is how they are structured. Chapter 28 is a list of items where Lord Ramachandra uses to dissuade Sita from joining him in the forest. Chapter 29 is Sita's argument or refutation or making her case for going to the forest. Excuse me. And in the beginning of chapter 30, there is a very, very famous verse which we will look at. So I may not cover the entire chapter 30 because then later he agrees for her to go and we'll see how she makes her case. And then there is another famous verse spoken by Lakshmana in chapter 30 that we'll do next week. So we'll do 28 and 29 and the beginning of 30. In sort of studying this, if you were to read Ramayana, then it's a linear progression of conversation. Ramachandra lists all the reasons, and in the next chapter, Sita refutes her reasons. What I thought I'll do for you is try to lay his reasons why she should not go, juxtaposed with her reasons why she should go. Now, there's not a one-to-one match. It's not like they're at a court of law where they're arguing points. But there are many things that he says that she, in sort of summary ways, refutes and sort of gives a response of why she should. So we'll see how that goes. Okay. So in 28, before he gives all his lists, Ramachandra essentially is dissuading Sita Devi, and by this time her eyes are full of tears. She wants to go. She wants to follow Ramachandra to the forest because that is, in her essence, that is her dharma, and that is what she wants to do. So he tells her, okay, you've come from a very, very famous religious household, the household of Janaka Maharaj, right? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna refers specifically to Janaka. When he says Yad Yad Acharati Shrestha, that section of verses when he's talking about Shrestha, the greatest karma yogis per se. So he's saying you're coming from a very, very amazing family. And all kings, including your father, are very experts at following dharma. So I'm extolling you, Sita, to follow your dharma. And in this case, he's not saying that your dharma is in following the husband. He's saying your dharma is in following what your husband tells you to do. Very cleverly, because she's arguing, oh, if you are telling Kausalya Devi that her dharma is to stay with her husband and not go to the forest with you, then that same logic applies to me. I should be with my husband. So Ramachandra very skillfully says your dharma is in following your husband's order or request, uh, and not that you have to follow me. So then she's not willing to listen. So Ramachandra then says, okay, let me just give you a realistic idea of what it is to be in the forest. And part of the reason is to scare her, and also to give her a very realistic picture. She's maybe thinking, oh, forest is a nice park. Uh, in Chicago, we have some forest prisons. It's not like that at all. So he wants to give her some sense of what it means to be in the forest and the perils, the dangers associated for living there. And it's not just that they're visiting the forest and coming back. They're going to live there for 14 years. So from day and night, from 24 hours of day, there is danger. So Ramachandra has about 18 or 19 verses where every shloka ends with one of these two terms. Either he will say Vanam, Dukkhatamo, Dukkhatamo Vanam, or Dukkhataram Vanam. Both are the same. In Sanskrit, you have Dukkha, Dukkhataram, and Dukkhatama. So, like we have comparative and superlative. So basically, he's telling her it's fraught with danger. Dukkha means distress. So he was hoping that if he gives a list of distresses, she will be dissuaded because she is a princess. She has only lived in a palace. She never stepped out into what we call the real world, if you will. And so he thinks that that will dissuade her. So he says, I've summarized these verses. So I'm just going to give you a list. And I'm going to give you how she refutes it as well in some cases. He says, first of all, the forest is full of very noisy waterfalls. Uh, the sound is very scary. And there are lions roaring in caves. Uh, the, the, the idea of lions roaring in a cave is that, first of all, a lion's roar is heart-shattering. But roaring in a cave means it echoes and reverberates even louder. So that's first. And then he says, there are wild animals freely roaming the forest. And they are ever ready to pounce on human beings. They specifically like human beings. He says, the rivers, they are infested with crocodiles. And the bed of the rivers is full of mud that can trap your feet. In fact, even large elephants find it very, very difficult to cross such rivers. And the comparison is rivers, elephants are massive creatures and beasts of great strength. When they find it very difficult to cross through, but you are very delicate. It's going to be very difficult. Fourth one, he says the paths are full of thorns. Your feet are very, very delicate. That's the implied meaning. They're full of thorns. There are echoes of wild birds. Sometimes there's the hooting of the owl. It can be bone chilling. He says sometimes there's no water to drink. You have to keep on walking and walking for hours and hours, and you may not find water to drink. Fifth one, he says you have to lie down on bare ground. At the most, you may find some leaves, dry leaves, and those dry leaves are might poke and itch, and they're very uncomfortable. So Sita Devi says on all of this, in the forest, all the dust that may be raised by the animals running here and there, or just a very dusty environment, that dust will feel like sandal powder for me. It will be fragrant and very soothing. As far as sleeping on the ground, Ramachandra, there is nothing more comfortable than lying down on that dry grass with you than being in the palace and lying down on soft mattresses made of the best down or goose feathers. I don't want that. I'd rather be there with you than in comfort without you. In fact, discomfort with you is more appealing than comfort without you. Then Ramachandra says, listen, you can only eat fruits that have fallen from the tree. So it requires immense sense control. It's not like you can eat varieties or anything. This is very. It's not an orchard we are going into. We're going into a forest. Sometimes you find fruit. Sometimes you may not find. Then he says you can't even dress nicely in a forest. The one who resides in a forest usually wears matted hair. They wear robes of tree bark, and they have to be fasting for very, very long times. 7. Moreover, one has to take on intense sadhana. And in the middle of all of this, you might get guests, atithis. So you have to extend hospitality to any guest who might show up. So think of a reference. Pandavas and Draupadi were in the forest, and suddenly Durvasa Muni with all his disciples showed up and said, "We are hungry." And you have to extend hospitality. He's telling us very, very difficult. The ninth shloka. He says there's a lot of walking. It's not like you're wearing nice Nike shoes that are padded or you're walking bare feet. Okay. And you have to bathe 3 times a day. So whether it is winter, rainy season, doesn't matter how inconvenient it might be, but you have to bathe 3 times a day. And that too at prescribed times. Early in the morning, in the middle of the day, and when the sun is setting. So Sita Devi in response says, I'm young and I'm strong. So don't go by this idea that I have a delicate body. I may have a delicate body, but I'm very, very strong. Then Ramachandra says, the forest may be full of flowers, but every day you have to use for puja only those flowers that you have picked yourself. You can't take flowers that are strewn on the ground. So it's not easy. And then she says, it doesn't matter. I will enjoy all the seasonal flowers. And I will have such a wonderful time relishing the fragrance, the beauty, the colors of all these seasonal flowers that I will not even once remember the home of my mother and father. That means she's saying I'll not even be homesick even once. Then Ramachandra says, not only do you have to eat fruits from the tree, there's very little food available in the forest. So you might not find much to eat. And sometimes you have to skip a meal or multiple meals. So she says, doesn't matter. Whatever fruit or food we collect, we will eat, and that will be sufficient for me. In fact, whatever little I eat, it will feel like nectar. What's the point in, now this is my elaboration, what's the point in being in a palace full of royal food and available anytime as required, but no one to enjoy with? We know, even if we have simple food, but we have loving friends and loving, when we eat in the presence of people that we love and they love us, then even if it is simple food, it's very relishable. Versus eating a very grandiose meal in absolute loneliness. So she's like, doesn't matter. It'll taste like nectar. Then Ramachandra says, there are many fearful reptiles crawling on the ground. And, most people are um, freaked out by anything crawling on the floor. I'll tell you, some years ago, uh, we went to Gita Nagari. And at that time, Rasika Manjari used to uh, facilitate and coordinate that retreat. Some of us would go a little ahead. I was one of them. They would work hard in cleaning and putting it. I would just enjoy the uh, association and the wonderful Gita Nagari environment. But somehow I was always invited to come along, and happily I would go along. One such event was we were cleaning before the retreat and found a dead mouse somewhere. Just the sight of the dead mouse got everyone freaking out. Uh, there was a lot of laughter and this and that, and we were trying to pick up that mouse and get rid of it. It was not even alive; it was dead. If it were alive, then it would be running here and there. And imagine the creeped out feelings that someone might have. So he's saying there are all these reptiles that are crawling on the ground. In other words, he says there are large serpents along the path. Suddenly you're walking and you might find a big python, a cobra, something, some serpents are there. And then other verse, he says the place is infested with birds, scorpions, insects, gnats, mosquitoes. Now, one may say, why is a bird annoying? Imagine Sita's grown up in a palace where she only hears the tweets of very sweet birds, the cuckoo and the parrots. But imagine the whole day if a crow is going cow, cow, you have to hear that. It's a little annoying, or it's inconvenient. And there are scorpions; they can be poisonous. Insects. Imagine an insect crawling on you, or mosquitoes biting you. So he says they're always creating some sort of trouble. And then he says there are thorny trees, and the path is full of kusha grass. So kusha grass, when it dries up, it becomes very rough and sharp. And then there are reeds. Reeds are these grasses that grow tall and that are very rough to the skin. So if you graze against it, they can cause a bruise. And so Sita Devi says, "Oh, don't worry about this kusha grass and thorny trees. Actually, uh, all this will feel like soft cotton or the skin of a black antelope. So what you're calling as thorns and rough or sharp-edged kusha grass and reed, to me, will feel like nice cotton and the skin of a black antelope, very, very soft to touch. I will not feel a thing." Then Ramachandra says, "Oh, Sita, there will be many, many physical discomforts. And one is constantly in fear in a forest because you don't know where an attack might come from. There are rakshasas, there are animals, there are insects, there are snakes. The whole place is fraught with fear." And she says, "Doesn't matter. I will not be afraid. In fact, being in the forest with you will feel like a wonderful vacation. That I'm on a holiday with you." Then Ramachandra says, uh, anyone who lives in the forest needs to give up anger and greed. And the mind should always be focused on austerity. So it's not a place where you're going for fun and frolic. And he says, you cannot be afraid of fearful situation because the forest is full of it. And finally, he says in 18th verse, Sita, forest life is not fit for you. It's not at all suitable for you. Don't do it. Then Sita Devi responds, that anywhere with you is heaven, and anywhere without you is hell. So if you're thinking that the forest will be difficult, it'll be full of challenges, it'll be full of fearful situations, danger at every moment, but being with you, that will feel like heaven. If I'm in Ayodhya all by myself, feeling this severe pangs of separation from you, even if I am in Ayodhya inside a great palace, within all comforts, that will be hellish for me. So this is her refutation. Then she has another list, and there are 7 items, and these are her additional 7 reasons why she should go. First of all, she said that Ramachandra, you yourself spoke, and you are the emblem of dharma. So you yourself spoke that a wife should not be without her husband. So how can you go to the forest and not take me with you? So that's my first refutation. Second, she says, I'm not afraid of animals as long as you are by my side. In fact, even the demigods cannot cause any harm to me, because the reference to demigods means the very, very powerful personalities and they can do anything. And she says, I have no fear that even they, if they put some challenge, I don't have any fear of them. Third, you keep saying that one's senses must be fully controlled. I assure you, my senses are completely controlled. That is never a concern for you. Don't worry about it. Four, I'm completely fearless. Five, she says, when I was in my father's home before we were married, I was there, and there were 2 incidents. One, a Brahmana who looked at my palm and my horoscope said that Sita has a period of time where she will live in the forest. So she says that such predictions you cannot avoid. So it's already predicted that I'll be in the forest. So why are we trying to avert it? Another reason she gives is a female mendicant had come to my home, and she told my mother that your daughter Sita will dwell in the forest for some time. So that also has to come true. And finally, she uh, releases the ultimate that no one can argue. She says the Vedas also enjoin that a wife should always accompany her husband. Now, this accompaniment means in all circumstances. It's not that the going has gotten tough and so there is abandonment. No, they're together. Despite all of this, Ramachandra says, no, I'm not convinced that you should go with me. So Sita just drops to the floor, and tears are profusely uh, flowing from her eyes because she has tried different things. Previously, we talked how she first thought she was entitled to go. Then she argued very, very strongly. Now she has given a very reasonable set of considerations. She's using reasoning. Okay. Finally, she's even begged him, please let me go with you. Please let me go with you. This will be like heaven with you. So she has resorted to everything. And Ramachandra hasn't changed his mind. So finally, she releases uh, the uh, ultimate option, and the ultimate option is something that she speaks in anger to him. And Yamuna Jivana, Can you share that shloka with us? Please share your screen if you can. So the verse, she says, किं त्वामन्यतः वैदेहः पिता मे मैथिलाधिपः sorry रामः जामातरं प्राप्य स्त्रियं पुरुषविग्रहम्. Wow, this is the ultimate. She says, O Rama, uh, Vaideha, my father, who's the king of Videha, Mithiladhipa, the king of Mithila, Pitame, my father, Jamataram means son-in-law, Prapya. He will think that he got a son-in-law who is not a man. Striyam Purusha Vigraham. He's actually a woman, just looks like a man. So this is the ultimate, calling Ramachandra not man enough. You're not man enough to take care of me in the forest. And here is my father who thought that you are such a Veera. Remember, when the bow had to be broken, actually not broken, the bow had to be strung, and nobody accepted the challenge, then Janaka Maharaja said, Nirviryam Urvi Sthale. Yeah, he says what? There is no Veera, there is no hero on this entire surface of the earth. Nirviryam Urvi Thale. And at that time, Ramachandra had gotten up and not only lifted the bow, but completely broken it apart. So my father, Janaka, thought you are a man, Purusha. Actually, you're Striyam, you're a woman, you're weak. So this verse um, is considered like the ultimate. Now, one may say, how can Sita Devi speak something like this? So there are at least two ways of looking at it. Both sound very similar. So think of it this way. Between Ramachandra and Sita Devi, although we may have a picture of a very formal type of relationship, we read some verses of how much they love each other. And this anger is the feature of mana. It's a particular aspect in a rasa filled relationship where there is room for anger, but that anger uh, uh, comes from a place of love. So I'll give a very different example. Uh, Suppose a child is about to put their hand in fire, and a mother who sees that very loudly raises her voice, or a father raises their voice and says, "Stop! What are you doing?" Now that sounds angry, but that so-called anger comes from a place of love. And in Sanskrit, that word is called pranaya. Pranaya is the love that that person is as good as my own life. Right? When we talk about Srimati Radharani and Krishna, we've heard the phrase pranaya vikritir haladini shakti rasma. This pranaya is this intense love that has room for all range of emotions. So in that pranaya, she's speaking. Now, another aspect of it is she just does not want Ramachandra to go to the forest without him. Part of her pranaya is that she does not want to be separated from Ramachandra. So whatever it takes to be with him, she is utilized. So she says, I will be like Savitri to you. And she refers to the story of Savitri and Satyavan. So I'll just quickly summarize the story. There was a person, Satyavan, whose wife was Savitri. It's a famous story. And Savitri was such a chaste woman that, in fact, her name goes down in history as one of the most chaste wives. And Satyavan, for a particular situation, was dying prematurely. He was about to die. And so Yamraj personally came to take away Satyavan's subtle body. And when he arrives there, Savitri serves Yamaraj very, very nicely. Now, it's not because she's happy that Yamaraj has come to take her husband away. Most modern Savitris will feel like, oh, fantastic, Yamaraj, please welcome. Not that kind of welcome for Yamaraj. And she's because she's very, very clever. Yamaraj is a Mahajana and who has come, so she served him so well. So Yamaraj asked her, you've pleased me so much, ask for whatever boon you want. So she says, please bless me that I can have a very amazing child. And Yamaraj says, sure, you'll have a wonderful child. So then she brings the checkmate question. She said, how can I have a child if you're going to take away my husband? So Yamaraj, who got checkmated by Savitri, smiled and said, you're a very, very smart woman. For saving your husband, you're so amazing that I will not take Satyavan with me. So Sita is saying, I will be like Savitri for you. And finally, her pleading went into, if you don't take me, I will take poison and kill myself, or I will self-immolate myself. I'll create a fire, and just jump into the fire and die without you. So Ramachandra embraced Sita Devi, who's about to faint, and he told her, Sita, I do not desire heaven if you are not happy. It is not that I cannot take care of you in the forest. I just don't think it's the right decision to take you along. I am being pulled to go into the forest because that's my duty. I have committed to fulfill my father's word. But somehow I'm unable to decide about you. But anyway, you've convinced me and we'll deal with what comes. So go ahead and distribute all your jewelry away to Brahmanas and prepare to go with me. So finally, she was delighted that Ramachandra agreed for her to go along. But it took begging, pleading, and finally a Pranaya-filled angry words towards him. Okay, so this is a very famous verse where she tells to Ramachandra, "You're not man enough." Now, this one, remember carefully. When we go into Aranya Kanda, Lord Ramachandra and Sita Devi willing, and we all are together until that time, this verse will come back when we go to Aranya Kanda. But in this verse, there are some hidden meanings. So here is one of the hidden meanings in a commentary called Tilaka. Actually, can you put up the verse again? Yes, Yamunaji. Remember, she had made reference to a Brahmana who said that Sita will go into the forest. So in the Tilaka commentary, it is said that the word Dvija that she is referring to, that Brahman, is actually not the Brahman who came to her home, but Ravana himself. Because there is a work, a particular book called Shweta Dvipika. Shweta Deepika, in that Ravana is the Brahmana who predicted that the only reason he will be killed is because of Lakshmi Devi. So in that sense, it is the word of that Brahmana, Ravana. So she's saying to Ramachandra indirectly, let the words of Ravana come true. So take me to the forest. So the inner sense is Ramachandra should not be concerned about the hardships of forest life because Sita has her senses fully controlled. Okay. Then there is the great Acharya Govindaraja, and in Govindaraja Swami's work called Tattva-Deepika, he gives a completely different meaning. One of his concerns is he cannot grasp. I don't think he should grasp. He does not want the audience to think that Sita Devi can even say something like this to Ram. So he has taken this verse and comes up with a completely different meaning. So first he says that Ramachandra, had my father known that you were in this male body, although you were not man enough, he would have never given me to you. However, when we were getting married, so this is the reference in Vishnu Purana, it is said that Vasudeva Sakshad Purusha. Only Vasudeva is the only male, Purusha. Striparyam Itarat Sarvam. Everybody else in the world is feminine, which according to Bhagavad Gita is also true. The Jiva, soul, is feminine by nature. Only Ramachandra or Krishna is the Purusha. Why? Because Krishna says, Aparameyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabhav. This is in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He said, I have the external energy, and then there is an internal energy that is higher, superior, that is the living entity. So technically, all living beings are feminine. Only the Supreme Personality is masculine. So, so she says that including Lord Brahma, they're all feminine. So the meaning of this verse is, my father, the king of Videha Raja, king of Videha province, obtained you as the son-in-law, Jamataram, considering everyone else other than you to be in the guise of a man. Striya Purusha Vigraham. So she's saying, only Rama Jamataram Prapya. You're the only masculine or male in that entire assembly. Striyam Purusha Vigraha. Everyone else is feminine. And the only reason right now my father would be concerned is you are being very timid. So she's calling him Rama, which means you're very, very timid in this situation. And please don't take my father. My father should not consider that he was under this illusion, that his realization that you're the only Purusha become false. Don't let that happen. Because he's a very amazing Acharya, he takes these words and then he splits them differently to give a completely different meaning. So he says, if you separate the words this way, this is how it reads. He says, Kim tvam anyataha videha pita me mithiladipah ramaja mataram amataram prapya. Okay. So Ramaja indicates one who is born to make the world happy. Ramaja, O you who was born just to make the world happy. Amataram prapya. Amataram means the woman in the form of a stepmother. Amataram is stepmother. So Amataram Striyam, not prapya, sorry. Ramaja Amataram Striyam is the stepmother, Kaikeyi, Prapya means you have a goal. She gave you a target, or you received a target from her, and the target was go to the forest and take care of all the demons there, including Ravana. And the way she brought it out is through Vigraham. Vigraham means graha is fighting or quarrel. So Vigraha means an intense quarrel. So she created this Amataram Striyam. Your stepmother created this very intense quarrel for you, O Purusha, the supreme person, Ramaja, whose only purpose was to be appearing for giving the world happiness. She's telling you to go to the very amazing way of looking at it. If you take Ramaja Mataram as one word, he says that Ramaja Mataram as one word means the son-in-law who's the embodiment of bliss. So she's saying there is no reason for me to be unhappy in the forest because you are the embodiment of bliss. And Purusha Vigraham means one who takes the devotees, one who takes on the devotees only for the reason that he wants to give his grace, his blessings, his mercy to his devotees. So Purusha Vigraham also means that personality who is exclusively available to his devotees for granting them mercy. And when she says Rama, we know the phrase Ramante Yogino Anante. So the translation of this verse reads another way. It says, did my father, Pita, Janaka, think that women, sons, friends, etc., and the heaven is true? No, he knew all this to be void and became full of bliss. He became full of bliss because he is called Videha. The word Videha means one who's not identifying with his body. So he knew that women, sons, friends, kingdom, these are not the reasons to become happy. The true is in self. And that is why he became very happy. And he knew all this, and thus the cause of all the bliss, you, Rama, who are the cause of all this bliss, why do you cause me so much anguish by not taking me with you? This is Sita's way of questioning him. So that's where we begin chapter 30. Next is Lakshmana. Now he also wants to go, and he is going to say something when we meet next week. He's going to say something that's very fascinating, and that's an example for all of us to follow. And I will show you how what Prabhupada taught and how we are continuing to learn. And in the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, exactly the same principle is there. Okay. So until then, any questions or comments? Any thoughts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This is Ananda Das. Please accept my humble
Hare
obeisances.
Krishna. Go ahead, Anand.
Oh, sorry. Okay. My question is, you mentioned one place where Lord Ram is asking Mother Sita that in the forest you will have to pick flowers for puja. So this has always been boggling for me that at that time, who used to be personality of Godhead to be worshipped?
I read the verse two Sundays ago that when Ramachandra was to be coronated, both he and Sita entered their temple that was established uh, in the household of Ikshwaku dynasty, and the verse particularly called Sita Devi, that who was standing next to him. The word used for her is Visalakshi, the one with Vishala Akshi, one very very big eyes. And the reason she's called Vishalakshi there is she's standing here next to Ramachandra, who's very, very attractive and cannot take your eyes away. He's standing in front of the deity of Ranganath, who's been a deity in Ikshwaku dynasty for generations together. And the verse particularly says Narayana, so the verse, the Supreme Personality. And she's looking at that deity who's also fascinatingly beautiful and handsome. And with big eyes, she's wondering, who should I be attracted to? Because both are so competitively attractive. Both are the same person, right? So it was always Narayana worship. So they are worshipping Narayana. And this is in Treta Yuga. In Satya Yuga, when Dhruva went to the forest, Narad Muni very particularly gave him a series of meditative steps, and those verses describe the form of Krishna Garbha, the Supreme Personality, Vishnu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I remember you saying a few weeks before, when Rama was called by King Dashratha.
Rama
So
was what?
called by King Dashratha, like,
Ah,
you're going to,
yeah.
send to forest and like that.
Yes.
Before he leaves Sita, he told her that get ready. Like they already had a plan of being in the forest, to be in the forest. So that's how you said, like, there is another meaning, like, he said, like, get ready, I'll be back soon, something like that. So now why he is telling all reasons, like, you should not come, you should get in. And as soon as he entered also, Sita was asking, why you look so morose, like, I haven't seen you like this. So is it part of the pastime like that, or?
Well, it is part of pastime, but the reason is they understand everything with their hidden words and they communicate through the eyes. But for people like us, who are conditioned souls, we are getting an opportunity to see how their exchanges is this continuous wave-like rising of rasa between the two. There are these exchanges. What's the point of a relationship without exchanges?
Hmm.
It's not just one flat thing. He told her, some secret word, be ready. Then he comes back, ready? Yes, let's go. Ready? It's not like that.
Hmm.
There's a lot of churning of that rasa. And the more there is churning, the more there is sweetness. There is exchanges. There is room for, these conversations that go back and forth. He's concerned for her. She is concerned for him. She's not at all concerned about herself. He's not concerned about himself at all. These are all features of love. And we are getting to witness the sweet and the sweetness of those exchanges. It's not a very dull, yeah, let's go to the forest. Not like that.
Okay.
But there is so much more lessons as well. She is giving lessons about a wife's dharma. Okay. So those who use Sita Devi as an ideal, then she's showing what that means, what she stands for in difficulty, in major calamities, how that bond of friendship, that they will face it, whatever situation they'll face together.
Mm.
His concern for her, I mean, it's all sweet.
Yeah, good lesson for all the couples, right? Mm. Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
You're welcome.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Um,
I'm actually very surprised that nobody has any wife and husband type question. I'm very surprised. Okay, go ahead, Marty.
so Mother Sita, when Rama told that you have to stay back, she gave all these reasons, and it's very painful for her to stay without Rama. And when she had to go to forest without Rama, like when somebody blames Rama that Sita was accepted even after staying with Ravana. So that time I think it would have been very painful for Sita. But she did not get a chance to talk to Rama, is it, Prabhuji? That she could not give these reasons again, what she was giving now, that she could not live without Rama.
When is this? When he sends her when she's pregnant? That's the one?
Yes.
She didn't have a chance to say that. Was it difficult for her? Sure. Was
Yeah,
it difficult for him?
yes.
Very sure. Very sure.
So did Rama might have remembered all the reasons that Sita Devi gave her, gave
I
him?
don't know. He might have become an old man or forgotten also. Old age now, forgetful.
So I was just trying to just think both the situations what Sita Devi must have been going through in that moment.
Yeah. Worse is what she's going through when she's forcibly sitting for almost a year in Ravana's garden.
Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't come to that section yet where in Uttarakanda Lakshmana is leaving her. She rails and she completely breaks down in talking to Lakshmana.
So, Prabhuji, you told that Sita Devi was both right wing and left wing.
Yeah.
But at that time she just followed the instruction, and she did not like complain or anything.
She
Or
did not know she was going to be left in the forest.
Oh yeah, yes, Prabhuji.
She was going on a little trip. It's like telling her go to get some groceries and just don't break her home back.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that point. Thank you.
When we come there, if Ramachandra and Sita Devi allow us to get that far, it sounds very harsh or inhuman in one sense. But actually, we started our Ramayana discourse with this very first. Why she is taken to it's her desire to be in the forest. It's her desire that her children should grow up and experience forest life.
But
And
not without Rama, though.
So one of the things is one should be very careful how one desires certain things. The Lord fulfills desires in very, very funny ways sometimes. Didn't I tell you the story of a wife and husband who were together for many years?
Well, I like to hear again, Prabhuji.
Oh. Well, let's see if there's someone else has a question. Otherwise, I'll tell you the story because I just said this story, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago. If not, I'll tell you again.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Hey.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
You said that Lord Ram and Sita, they worship Ranganath. So, but many, like I have heard many times that they also worship Shiva, and Lord Ram also established the Rameshwaram, the Shiv Linga he established it. So why does the Lord do that? Why did he worship Shiva there? Because it creates a lot of confusion between the Shivites and the Vaishnavas. Who is superior? Because Lord Ram. So if
Ramachandra is very secretly preparing for Kali Yuga, where they don't have any problem, but their followers have issues.
yeah.
So worship and respect are two different things. Worshipping Lord Ranganath is one thing, and offering respect and seeking the best wishes of Lord Shiva in Rameshwaram is a different thing. The same Supreme Personality of Godhead, when Sudama visits Dwaraka, he made him sit on Rukmini's bed, something so exclusive and private. He made Sudama sit on Rukmini's bed, washed his feet, sprinkled the water on his head and others' head, and Rukmini was fanning Sudama. So Krishna was showing how to respect Brahmanas. Now it doesn't mean that we stop the worship of the Supreme Personality and just think that Brahmanas. So that's the Kali Yuga mind that puts everything in one dimension. Why should one not worship Lord Shiva? If you see him as a Vaishnava, don't we say serving Vaishnavas is greater than serving the Lord? If Lord Shiva, by his magnanimity and unbelievable causeless mercy, showed up in front of any one of us, what will we ask him? Oh, you're a demigod, I cannot respect you. No, we'll lie flat on the floor and sing praises about Lord Shiva and beg him, please give me this much love and affection for Sita Ram or Kishore Kishori. That's what we will ask. So showing respect and honor has place. When we recite the second offense to the holy name, the offense, we generally say thinking Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva as independent supreme. But thinking of them something small or low is also an offense. They have their rightful place of honor in the universe. After all, Lord Shiva is called Pashupati. He is the father of all living beings. It is through him that all living beings enter this material sphere.
Yes.
So people have this very, say, immature perhaps. And in general, it's less to do with the Lord and it has more to do with my sense of I am with the best. I am with the most supreme. So it's more like it's a more of an envy and competition among the conditioned persons than those persons. Because it's not that Vishnu is supreme. That's not the issue. I am worshipping Vishnu. Therefore, he is supreme.
Yeah, got it, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This is Shuchi. I have a question.
Yes, Suchi.
So I was just a little thinking about, so the order which was given to Rama and Sita was to go to Vanvas, right? But it wasn't so explicitly mentioned that they should not use any power and just live. Is there anything we are missing here? So
No.
Living in Vanvas, it's one thing, but not eating food or plucking food or living in or sleeping on kusha grass, is it mandatory? I mean, he can make a house himself with his normal resources he has. Why he has to be in such difficult situation in Vanvas?
Yeah. because Vanavas means difficult. That is why he's being sent there. Otherwise, what's the point? Ramachandra go to the forest and live like a king there. Then what's the point? Where is the banishment? Hold your horses. Few more chapters. You will see Dasharath Maharaj's argument coming up. He's not dead yet. He's just completely outwitted. So once they decide that all three of them are going to go, they come to Dasharath Maharaj for his blessings. At that time, you will see all the resources that Dasharath Maharaj gives Ramachandra. And you will hear Kaikeyi's argument and what Ramachandra says. So, hold on. Picture abhi baki hai.
Okay. Okay. And also, just one more question on the same part. When is the time he can use powers he has? So I kind of understand for having a house or sleeping, he can't use his immense power. So, but for fighting Ravana, he can use all his powers. So what's kind of a condition that when he can use power and when he should be a normal human person?
The line that separates it is sense gratification versus service.
Okay.
In service, one brings forth all of one's resources, all of one's intelligence, all of one's powers and everything. When it comes for something personal or sense gratification, one withdraws everything. Here's a beautiful story from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life. It spells a lot. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his later second half of his life, of the 48 years, second half was in Jagannath Puri. And in Jagannath Puri, he had a little room for himself, which Maharaj, His Holiness Rompat, Swami took all of us to, many of us. It's a place called Gambhira. Gambhira means very grave and intense. So that was the room Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to be in. And the Gambhira is a very small room. One afternoon, after lunch, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stepped into the Gambhira and right by the door lay down there. And one of his servants, his name was Govinda, every day would come and massage Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet. Now, when Govinda came that afternoon, generally in the Vedic system, you don't cross over somebody like that. Someone who's lying down, you don't cross over them. That means it's inauspicious. It's only when a dead body you cross over. Otherwise, you don't cross over. So, not dead body. It's inauspicious. So, what's his name? Govinda crossed over Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, went into Gambhira, and was massaging his feet. And he stayed there for a long time until Chaitanya Mahaprabhu woke up. And so when he woke up, he said, "Oh, Govinda, have you had your lunch?" And Govinda said, "Not yet, my dear Lord." And they asked, "So why didn't you have lunch?" "I did not want to cross over you and go and have lunch because that's not proper. It's inauspicious." So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, "How did you come here on this side to massage my feet?" He said, "I crossed over you and came." So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Well, that's contradictory. You anyway crossed over me, so why didn't you go back?" He said, "The first time when I crossed over, it was for my service unto you. So even if it is inauspicious for me, it doesn't matter. I have to do this service for you. But now if I have to cross over and go, that's for my sense gratification, which I cannot do."
Okay. Now I understand.
Very beautiful considerations. So this whole life of devotees, Ramachandra setting an example, is he has the power that just like that, all wealth can just manifest. But it's not required for sense gratification. Or we use the word sense gratification for any of selfish or personal needs. When it comes to serving and protecting the sages in the forest, all powers manifest. Of course, remember, Ramachandra has been given Bala Atibala mantras also by Vishwamitra, by which they will never feel thirsty, they will never feel hungry, they will never feel tired. That's also there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
You're welcome. All right. Oh, Shamkut, go ahead.
Prabhu, today you mostly explained about the pastime at a level where we get an appreciation or liking for the sense of Lord Ramachandra and his Mother Sita. That's at one high level. If we were to bring it to one slightly lower level, we also, I mean, like I have a relative who once said to her prospective husband, "Pyar mein main chana nahi kha sakti."
प्यार में
मैं चना नहीं खा सकती. She
प्यार
cannot
में चना
eat
नहीं
it.
खा हाँ
So she said, I mean, she said that she would expect a bare minimum level of financial stability in her
sure.
for a future marriage. And this is with a man with whom they were having an affair. And finally, they got married. They've been married for 20 plus years. What we hear from this dialogue between Rama and Sita is how much Mother Sita loves Lord Rama, and she has an innate tendency to be of service and value and love Lord Rama. Now, when we see the upbringing of young girls in general, one thought is we can say we should probably inculcate this in the upbringing of young girls. Definitely it's applicable for men too, but this softness, this feeling of being of value for others, etc., seems to be of value. But then it may be even misplaced. And in general, give an upbringing for boys and girls almost similar. There is no difference in the upbringing that we give to either boys or girls. From your insights, what is it that we should do? We don't know. We know that in general. I mean, what we only know is how to bring in a competitive mindset. We know that it is not good. But what is good, we don't know. So, in specific, with respect to the upbringing of a girl child, what is it that we can take from Sita, and in general, what are the considerations that we need to bring up ladies who are confident, and yet of value for the world, and which is in consonance with their inner nature?
That's a whole class, Ramakut.
I'd love it to.
Yeah, we don't have the time for it. प्यार में चना नहीं खा सकते, which is correct. Whoever is, of course, I'm not a personal believer in very specific gender roles that only men should earn and women should not. I'm not at all like that. So, in the context of relationships breaking up, there has been a survey done many years ago by a Catholic or some church. And they found out that the number one reason for couples to break up, this is at least in America, the number one reason is infidelity, where the couples cannot remain faithful to each other within the contract of marriage. The second second largest reason why a household breaks up is due to financial instability or financial insecurity. The nature of the world is such that money has to play a very money plays a very vital role. Now, how much money, all that is very subjective. In this case of Sita Devi, it's not that she married a loser who doesn't want to do any work or is not capable. He is very capable. The context particularly is that in the course of life, and this is something that not just a girl child, but even a male child, a son or a daughter, is that in the course of life, akasmat, unknowingly, suddenly, unexpectedly, major challenges might come. And during those major challenges, one doesn't abandon the important relationships. One holds on to the strength in those relationships. Now the question is, from the beginning, let's say if there was no strength in that relationship, then that relationship will not come to rescue in difficulty. So we are told that when there are no difficulties, then you invest in strengthening that relationship, where there is mutual respect, honor, dignity, love, affection, service, all of those factors. Because there are two people making that journey together. And will difficulties come? You bet. It's at that time of difficulties when nothing else actually can help. It's the strength of that relationship that will help. Tide through the difficult time. Because if there's someone to share it, that is powerful. That's sort of the essence of it. And that's sort of what the reason we're discussing this as couples who are listening, as children who are listening at home. The reason is that that's the place of strength for us. That, oh, let me take stock, let me take inventory of how my relationships are right now, especially within marriage, how my relationship is. What are some areas that I can contribute to strengthening it, etc. Okay. Shankar, only that much for now.
Okay. I have more questions, maybe later.
Yeah, we can spend a little time on this separately. It's already 11:15. I don't want to take too much time, but I'll
Okay.
end with the funny story of one should be careful how one asks the Lord. Okay, and I think I've told you this story, Shankar. So this for you is a repeat, but for others maybe not. So there was a couple who were married for many years. This man was now 65, and his wife was 50 years old. Okay, and he was about to retire. So his wife said, "Oh, we're about to retire. Can we go together on a trip to Kashi to see Lord Shiva?" So the husband said, "Yeah, okay." So both of them began to pray to Lord Shiva very sincerely. And Lord Shiva, who's easily pleased, appeared to both of them and said, "Ask me whatever you like. I will fulfill. Each of you can ask me one benediction." So the wife, who's very simple-minded, said, "Oh Lord Shiva, we've lived a very simple middle-class life, and we've traveled a little bit here and there. This time I want to come to Kashi, but my desire is that I should travel in second AC. Every time I've traveled in three-tier sleeper, this time second class AC. Please, can you somehow bless that my husband can manage tickets in second class AC?" So Lord Shiva smiled and said, "Oh, no problem. Consider it done." Then he turned to the husband and said, "What would you like?" The husband told Lord Shiva, "Come to the side. I need to talk to you in private." He said, "I like my wife, no doubt. Very sweet woman and all that. But I've been with her for so many years. So this time, what I really desire is if I go to Kashi, I want to go to Kashi with somebody who's 30 years younger than I am. That would be fun." So Lord Shiva said, "Oh, no problem. We can make it done." And in a moment, that man went from 65 years of age to 80 years of age. That way, he still has to travel with his wife, who's 30 years younger. So the guy had different kinds of desire, but the way it was fulfilled is very tricky. So yes, we may ask the Lord for fulfill this, fulfill that, but the ways they get fulfilled are very, very tricky sometimes. So one should be careful how we pray and what we pray for. All right? Marty, you like the story?
Yes, Prabhuji.
All
Thank you.
right. You're welcome. Let's stop here. I can keep on going, but I'm sure everyone else has other things to do in life. Until we meet again next Saturday, Hare Krishna. I hope you have a wonderful week, meditating on the wonderful personalities, Sita Devi and Sri Ramachandra, and the love they have for each other. Thank you. Hari Bol. Take care.
Hare Krishna.